The new Pixel 2 and Pixel 2 XL resemble the original design with the same sort of partial glass, partial aluminum backing, but with a less pronounced difference between the two and the glass section being a lot smaller than. And around the front, they've changed it in that they've given it much smaller bezels than before, which I'm sure just everybody will appreciate. The Pixel 2 comes in clearly white, just black, and kinda blue. Yes, those are the real names, and frankly, the kinda blue is an accurate depiction compared to last year's really blue. And the Pixel 2 XL only comes in two colors, black, and they call it white, but I think it should be called Panda. Both devices have a fingerprint sensor in the middle on the back of the phone, and the same camera above that. The camera is a 12.2 megapixel f1.8 aperture with laser and dual pixel autofocus, as well as, thankfully, optical stabilization and electronic stabilization working in tandem. And if the last year's Pixels with their awesome camera software producing some great photos are any indication, hopefully this year's improves upon that. And we'll obviously have to give the devices to test and find out for sure. Google did, however, demonstrate on stage that the DxOMark, the benchmarking camera company, basically gave it a 98 compared to last year's 89. Which is, again, the highest score for any smartphone. Now, even though they don't have dual cameras, Google also showed off a portrait mode similar to that found on the iPhones and Note 8. Essentially, it uses the dual pixel that it uses for autofocus to determine depth, and then uses that in conjunction with machine learning to give us that fun blurred effect without having to need two cameras. Also because of that, it means that this feature will also work on the front-facing camera as well. Now on the front of the device, we have a 5-inch 1080p AMOLED screen with a 16:9 aspect ratio for the Pixel 2 and a 6-inch QHD Plus POLED screen with an 18:9 aspect ratio for the Pixel 2 XL. The UI has a new always-on display that does what we're pretty much used to these things doing, but the features have also been added to utilize Google Assistant, like learning what song is playing and being able to tap on that to get more info and that kind of stuff as well. Above the screen, we have an 8 megapixel f2.4 aperture front-facing camera, as well as dual front-facing speakers. The devices have only one port, a USB-C port. And yes, there is no headphone jack, but they do include an adapter for you to utilize your headphone jack with the USB-C. They are powered by the Qualcomm Snapdragon 835, have 4 gigs of RAM, and are running Android Oreo, vanilla of course, and either have a 2700 milliamp battery or a 3520 milliamp battery respectively. Also, as rumored, the new Pixels will feature a squeezing feature that you can squeeze to then get Google Assistant to launch.